record the sessions to make more participation happen, because I think it's better if people can participate so they can live discuss things and put some Q&A stuff and all like that. So this should be an incentive for them to join over here. If the videos are available every time, or maybe you can post these videos after some time, not immediately. So that will also.
We'll do the same only. She will do the same.
Yeah. So people should come to and have a discussion on this forum. So that will help everyone to understand our technology more deeper. So we're saying that, let's get started. I'll share my screen. And today's session will be around 40 minutes or so. It's purely demo. So feel free to ask me any questions that you think you're not able to understand, and we'll take it from there. So I have two virtual machines right now, and I'm going to show you a demo of entire blockchain, including smart contracts and things like that, which is completely deployed on my environment right now. So I have node 1 and node 2 with me, and node 1 is already running blockchain for me. So last time you remember I was running this as a blockchain, and so this is currently running right now on node 1. And I have another node, which is node 2, and I will be using this as my client machine to talk to blockchain. Right? So I hope you all remember the concepts from the last time. How many people were not there in this group last time?
I was not there.
This is Mohit. I was also not there.
I was not there.
Oh, it seems like half the people were not there actually. Yeah. So so you should be able to understand the concepts. We discussed in last time all the concepts related to blockchain. So we thought we'll do a follow-on with a demo, so that you could relate those concepts with the demo. So okay, let's go ahead and do that. Means I'm going to show a demo. So just have fun with that. So the way to connect. So I have a blockchain running on node 1, and I'm right on node 2, and I'm going to use something called Node.js. So if you're familiar with Node, we can use Node.js to connect to blockchain. And the way to do it is there are JavaScript frameworks which can help us do that. So I have already written the code, so I'm going to paste it here and explain what's happening while I speak about it. So the first thing we'll do is, so there is a Solidity Compiler that we need to compile our smart contracts. So that is something which we need to get things done. So on Node.js, we need to load that library. So requires is a way to actually load a library in Node.js. Similarly, we'll do it for file system, because our contract is stored on a file system. And also we need to load something called Web3, which is the framework to connect to blockchain, Ethereum basically. So now, okay, we did a mistake here. So let's run all the three, because the variables names need to change. I'm just copying it from here so it becomes easy. All right. So now the next thing we need to do after loading these framework is to connect to blockchain. And the way to do it is there is a provider provided by Web3 called HTTP provider, and we are going to use that for connecting to the blockchain. So we're going to use this called HTTP provider and provide the IP address to connect to it. And now it's connected. So now if we see what web has, so web should have two providers with us, and we are connected to it or not, we can check. So we can do something called web.isConnected. So if it shows true, then it means you are connected to the blockchain. Anybody having any difficulty in understanding this? Yeah, everybody clear what I am doing right now? Can I have a shout?
Yes, Ritesh.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So you connected to a blockchain right now. Once you're connected to blockchain, then you can pretty much query it, update it, and issue, create update functionalities and things like that. So let's see. Let's try to explore what's there in blockchain. So if we do something called web.h.accounts, it will give me all the accounts that's there in my blockchain, right? So if I do this, there are 5 accounts right now. So if I want to understand a balance of any one of the accounts, so maybe I can do web.h.get balance, and then I can pass it on the web.h.accounts, which is an array. And then if I close this, it has some good amount of money. So if I can change, this is in Wei basically. Wei is one of the denominations of Ether. And so if you can convert into Ether, it will turn out to be some 504 Ether or something like that right now with this account. Similarly, if you want to know the balance of another account, you can do that, which has 0 balance right now, so no balance. You can also pass on the address directly to get balance. I can copy this. And I get the same balance. All right. So I have a contract. Let me show you the contract. I found the contract. A very simple contract. Last time I think I showed you this. Hello world contract. So which accepts a string and which returns a string. So whatever you send, it gets stored in simple string and just returns back the same thing, right? So we will load this file using our FS, which is the file system library. And we have read that file. Meanwhile, we'll start mining onto our blockchain. So this will start the mining process behind the scenes. So the mining is going on right now. Yeah. Once we compile it, we'll get the bytecode and the ABI interface and things like that, which I discussed last time. So if you want to go into the details of it, you'll see all of those details like the bytecode, the ABI, and things like that. Right. So we need to take out the bytecode and the interface or the ABI definition. So let's take the bytecode out of it. We do that. And we also extract the ABI definition. Right. So if you see what we have in bytecode, we have the bytecode. If you see what we have in ABI definition, that's my ABI definition. So I need both bytecode and ABI definition to actually work with contracts. So that's why I had to put it into different variables so that I can work it easily. And then I deploy the contract. But there's a challenge with this. The challenge is I need to authenticate to blockchain before I can deploy a contract. And the way to authenticate with the blockchain is using the personal account. So which account you want to unlock is what you need to give. So maybe so this will not unlock it because I made a mistake here. So I'll give the passcode here. Let's see whether it unlocks or not. Meanwhile, the mining is going on here. Are you with me on this?
Yeah.
It'll take some time, so let's wait for it because the machine configuration is not that great, and already mining is taking away a lot of CPU power. But finally, we got the true. So then now we can go ahead and deploy our contract. And we are doing nothing, but we are just taking the bytecode that we got before, and we are providing some gas and just trying to deploy that bytecode onto blockchain. So this contract is not defined. Give me a second. Which is correct. I have not defined contract. So let me define the contract. Contract is here. And now if I go and do this, so now it's deploying my contract right now. So this is the hash of my contract, and we should be able to see that here as well. You see the same hash 0863cc. We can see from here 0xa63cc. We can see from here.
I think there is some lag, so it is not showing right now.
It will show. I'm just I've already shared my screen, so I'll just wait for you all to see. So you see that I can see the hash of the entire thing, right? So how's the mining going on? The mining is still going on, but it is still not mined actually. So we are waiting for it to be mined. So let's wait for the mining to happen. Now it should have been mined. So if I go back to my original one, still not mined, still taking time. Yeah, it's mined. So this is we need the address of our contract. So where can we find that? Give me a second. So it hasn't shown me the address yet. Let me go back here. So this should be the address of my contract. But let's wait for the mining to complete. It's not yet complete. And so till the time the mining does not happen, it will give me some error. So let's see, or let's try it out. So let's take a reference now of the actual contract. This is the kind of address I was looking for. So let's see. So we will copy this. And we'll replace this address. And we'll see whether we can do something about it. Okay, we got this finally. So this was what I was expecting. So this was mined. And we can see that now. Here. So the mining has working now. See? So this was on this has been mined completely by now, and so we can use this going forward. So that's the same address I have. So I've taken it into a variable, and now I'll create an instance of the contract. So now if I see what's there in the contract, I'll find the methods get value and set value, which was part of the contract, if you remember, right? So now I can call these functions on the contract. But before I call, I need to again unlock the account. So let me unlock the account. And then I'm setting a value of hello Ritesh on the blockchain. So this will give me a transaction ID, and we should store that transaction hash. I think the transaction is not yet complete. Still. Yeah, it has not reached here. So let's wait for this to get over. Maybe you can just stop once and do it. It's become very slow. Let me open another window. And yeah, you see, I got this new transaction here. So let me stop this actually. Right. So now if I go back to my original transaction, I got the transaction, I got the hash of the transaction. And now if I do a get transaction or a get value basically, you will see hello Ritesh. So you could see that I could call both the methods set value and get value, and I was able to set the data in a smart contract in a blockchain using a different computer altogether. So that was a small gist of how you use smart contracts, how you write smart contracts, how do you use smart contracts in blockchain, how do you use it to store data into smart contracts, and things like that. Please go ahead with your questions now.
Yeah, Vijay, you had some question. Could you please ask it?
Thanks, Preyash. No, my question was that after looking into this demo, what I felt is that it seems to me that we have the installation and the uptime is more from Ethereum perspective. Is this the same case for even for Hyperledger? And is there any sort of a thought process? What is the best in today when you want to build an application in blockchain?
So I didn't get your question. Can you repeat it once again?
My question is that which is the best platform today between Hyperledger and Ether for blockchain application?
Yeah, so you can use Hyperledger. You can use the most famous among all is Ethereum, more famous than Hyperledger, and because that was the second biggest blockchain after Bitcoin, and even Hyperledger is quite famous. There are a lot of companies backing up Hyperledger as well. And you can use any of them. There are differences between them from architecture point of view, but primarily they all are blockchain. And you could use Java, for example, in Hyperledger, but you use Solidity over here or Serpentine or things like that in Ethereum. Both are scalable, both are highly available. There are no challenges in both of them, so you could choose the one that suits your need.
Okay. Thanks. By the way, is there any planning to demo and POC or an application based on a business case study Are we planning any sessions in the future?
Maybe in future, but not yet planned, yes, as of now.
Okay. And I'm not sure if this question is right for this team in this forum or not. So my viewpoint is that I see that lots of time is being spent on the initial startup and installation and transferring of a data. A simple sample is being taking so much time. Looking into all those things, in fact, I've been working on blockchain from the ground up using C# language. So I would like to know if any of you guys are interested to join in joint development platform. So you are welcome.
No, so that's fine. People can join you, but what is the concern with these? It takes time. So, for example, if you want to create a ASP.NET MVC app, you need to install Visual Studio. You need to do those things, right? And you need to configure Visual Studio. You need to create a solution. You need to create a solution, and then you need to create files. So. And you need to do deployment. This is like a deployment. You don't do this every time. So the Web3 framework will be available to you. The contract will already be deployed. You deploy contract once, but you use it 1,000 times. So this is, I'm showing from scratch that how you deploy. So now I can keep using this set value, get value any number of times. It won't take much time. And that depends on the hardware configuration as well. So,
okay, but if I'm not wrong, because I guess that you did some couple of times, you just stopped and restarted it.
Yeah, but that's because I'm using one core machine, not 4 core machines.
Yeah, I agree with that because we are using one core machine and looking at the promising platform. It is just a question, because it being a promising platform that it is a scalable application. I was under belief that it should not take that much time. So that's the reason why I put that thought process.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries. Anybody else? Any questions?
One more question from Vijay here. Any business case studies or any leading industry people who have worked on any vertical that you are aware of? Can you just share some experience on those lines from Ethereum point of view?
So if you look at the ICO market, 50% are on Ethereum. So whether it's energy sector, travel industry, whether it's exchanges using metal exchanges, all of them are on Ethereum.
I'm sorry. I mean, I didn't get what do you mean by ICO? I mean, if you can give some background on ICO, that could help us to understand how it is being implemented.
Offerings. There's something called initial coin offerings.
Okay.
It's very similar to IPOs, but this is for when you're coming up with your blockchain solutions and you want funding, you want to do crowdsourcing and things like that. You typically come up with an ICO, and those ICOs are pretty much built on top of Ethereum, more than 50% of them. So, for example, you heard about StoreJ, where you can do some storage and things like that, built on blockchain.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was an ICO where they collected millions of dollars, and they're pretty successful and building their solutions for blockchain and Ethereum, so that you can store data outside of your blockchain in StoreJ. And they basically provide you contracts to do that. So that's one example of it. Have you heard in the newspaper that SBI is implementing Ethereum?
Oh, I have heard more companies implementing it. That's not there's no surprise in those things, because in fact, government of Andhra Pradesh is trying to implement, SBI is implementing, Commonwealth Bank is implementing.
And there are Ethereum implementations.
Yeah, Ethereum implementation are going on, but only thing what I heard about from all the corners is that the challenge is that regarding it's very slow and it takes lots of time in the transactions. So that's what my observation and inputs I've got. So I thought this forum is right one for me to put this question across.
That's a good question actually. So the thing is, when people say this, it's slow, I always ask them, what is slow? So if you can put me into perspective, what do you think is slow So what is slow here?
See, basically what they feel that slowness is that, what I got from my inputs is that it's basically the installation and setup of the particular infrastructure for platform is what they feel is very slow.
Okay.
And even once it takes lots of time, because every time you shut it down and shut it up, make it up, it takes more time to get connected, and it has to sync up, and lots of time is wasted out there for doing a small transaction.
No, why would you shut down in startup?
No, that's a correct question. Why do you want to shut it up and shut it down? But when the development is happening, so multiple times the people try to shut it down and shut it up, right?
No, you will not do that. Why will you do that?
Okay. So how actually people try to develop a blockchain application using Ethereum?
So were you looking at this example of mining start and stop, and you were referring to that?
Yes. That's what I'm trying to understand, because when you try to do a development using a blockchain framework, using the smart contracts, and if you want to test them, you did multiple times, you shut it down and made it up, right?
I did that because I'm running on a 1-core machine. If I run on a 4-core machine, I can keep running my mining for 10 days without shutting down.
Okay.
I think I answered that before.
You answered that question, but that is what actually general opinion from some of my friends that works. So I wanted to find some answers if that is the only case. If the processor is the only concerns over here, that's fine.
Yeah, so that's a wrong notion. So that's a completely wrong notion. You can keep running this. I will not need to stop it again.
Okay.
I did it just because my screen was not refreshing. That's all. Keep on running. Just keep on running this. Who's stopping you? Now it's running right now. See? Why should I stop it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. That's great.
Because I just wanted because my screen was not refreshing. If I stop and start, it will refresh immediately.
Okay.
You see?
Yep.
So I hope it changes your perception.
Of course, I mean definitely, because people like you have to give those inputs so that I can translate it back to my friends.
So
and
that's what I told. But the machine is slow. I have a 1-core machine, and if you use a good quality machine, mining is all about CPU. How much CPU you have? That's all.
Okay. Now this session is all about Ethereum. Can I put some questions on Bitcoin?
Yeah, go ahead if it helps others.
Yeah, sure. So I just wanted to understand how actually the Bitcoin framework implementation from the to the ICO market, what you just exactly said. Is it quite different? Is there any different implementation, or is it also being implemented?
So even Bitcoin is a blockchain. So think about in those days. Ethereum is a blockchain. Bitcoin is also a blockchain. Okay. So when you think of a blockchain, that's the underlying architecture and platform and paradigm you're using to implement. So the first blockchain application was Bitcoin. And after a while, Ethereum came into picture, which was a separate implementation of a blockchain. So if I tell you that, I give you a library. If I tell you I give you a library and create an application, so you create an application out of it. And the same library, I give it to somebody else, he'll create a different application. So in these two cases, one created Bitcoin, the other one created Ethereum.
Oh, okay, fine. Because I was under the impression that Ethereum was altogether from a scratch development based on Solidity, and Bitcoin was on C++.
No, you're confused with the words actually, with the jargon. Okay. Yeah. So I think you should see the video the last time.
Sure. I'll watch it.
That will help you answer that. Yeah.
Sure.
Anybody else? Anybody having more questions?
I do have a couple of questions. Possibly we can have a call after this session, because I think the session is getting recorded.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but go ahead. If it helps others, why not?
Mr. Mohit, I do not have any question right now, but certainly I would like to see the first video and then come back if I have any.
Go ahead. Okay, fine. You then post it on the Telegram if you have any questions.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay. So we may plan more sessions on this, on how to actually write smart contracts. So this is an example of one node mining. I can have 10 node mining as well. And I can have multiple Web3 web front ends, and can write a complete distributed app on top of it. We can definitely do that. So we'll plan that out. I'll plan out this with Preyash, and let's see how we can take things forward.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. And possibly if we can have a session, a comparative session between Bitcoin, blockchain, and Hyperledger, and with a case study, it will be even more nice that we can gain more knowledge from the industry vertical point of view.
Sure, we'll do that. Great, then. I think we are good for today. And feel free to connect on Telegram and ask your questions. More than happy to answer you all. I just want to make sure that you understood whatever you saw today. You can go ahead and try on your virtual machines and see how it works for you. And if it does not work, throw your question on Telegram and we'll try to help you answer.
Sure. Thanks, Ranjit, for the great, wonderful session. And just one, as a participant and to the people who have participated, I have a great, I'm working on a project called as Blockchain Framework from C#. If any of you are interested, please let me know and you can join in a joint development. And it will really be helpful. It's from the scratch based on C#, unlike Solidity or C++ or Java or Go language or whatever it is. Thanks.
So is it on GitHub?
I'm going to put it on the GitHub, so possibly you guys can share.
Yeah, so if you can put it on GitHub and share the link with everyone, then whoever wants to participate, they can keep sending you pull requests.
Sure.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Ritesh, and yeah, that's a wonderful session. And because we are new to blockchain, so that's why we don't have much questions. But definitely we will look at the first video and we try to involve in the project that is explained here. So that's the great learning from this group.
No worries, absolutely. That's the whole agenda.
Yeah. It's a wonderful session basically because it's a required session. In fact, I really liked it when Preyash contacted me and told me that there's a closed circuit for blockchain. And a couple of sessions have already gone. It was really wonderful for me today that I participated in the session. It's really great and wonderful, and I'm looking forward, as I said, for more comparative and more sessions on different frameworks, not only on the Ethereum but also on Hyperledger, as well as on the Bitcoin, and how actually their implication and how to build one ICO offerings from my own company. I would like to know more on that.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, this is Preyash here. So just adding Ritesh and Vijay and others. So we can go ahead and watch the video into the Azure Development Group, youtube.com/Azure Development Group. And this session is getting organized by the Azure Development Group in Telegram, which is having a 2,200 members. So go ahead and register for the upcoming sessions into our website, which is cloudcodes.com, CODES.com. So go ahead and register it and stay tuned for all the upcoming sessions and videos and registration. And you can come to know about the Telegram group also, and feel free to post our questions into Telegram group. Thanks everyone for joining.
Yes, sorry to interrupt, Preyash. So the registered people will get an email notification, or how can they get notified?
Yeah, so Ruxar, so we have our website launched. We have launched it, which is...
Yes, I registered. My question is that the registered people, they will get an email notification with the details, right?
Yes, exactly. So probably you have done it little late today, as most of the people who has done it today, they have got email notifications, and probably they could have used it also.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so better we can go ahead and see our website also, where we will see all the upcoming session details also.
Okay.
Preyash, this is Vijay here. Just wanted to understand if there's any WhatsApp group for this team.
Yeah, we do have it, and definitely Vijay, you can join it.
Sure. Thanks, Preyash.
I will share
So,
it with you.
Vijay, sorry, I don't think so. We will go on WhatsApp because WhatsApp have the limitation number of members limitation. 256 or 255 members you can add max in WhatsApp group. So that's why we are on Telegram. Okay, thank you.
Thanks everyone for joining. Bye. Good day. Good day.
Thanks, Priyas. Thanks, Vijay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you.